Hello everyone and welcome back to this channel. In today's lesson, we are going to explore one of the most important concepts in Python programming, which is data types. Every piece of information in Python belongs to a particular data type, and understanding this data type is essential because it determines how data is stored, processed, and manipulated in your program. In this video, you will learn about the major built-in Python data types, which includes numeric data types such as integers, floats. You are going to learn strings, Boolean, and collection data types such as list, tuple, set, and dictionary. We'll discuss what each data type is, when to use it, and how to work with it in Python. Most importantly, we will write code together and solve general practical exercise to reinforce your understanding. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to identify different Python data types, create variables using them, inspect their types, and confidently use them in your own program. If you are enjoying this Python series, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notification so you never miss a lesson. Also, let me know in the comments which Python topic you would like to learn next. Now, open your code editor and let's get started. It is important for Python to know what kind of information or data it's storing because different types of data are handled differently. For example, name is a text. So I can say name because it's a text, so it belongs to the class of data called string. Age is integer. Age is integer. Height will be a float. And if I want to know if someone is a student or not, I can use a variable called a student. Then the value will be a Boolean. So here you can see name is a string. So this is the type of data called a string. Age belongs to the class of integer. Height is a float and a student is a Boolean. So these are different data types. The category that a value belongs to is called data types, and Python automatically determines the data types. So now, what is data type? A data type is the classification of data that tells Python how the data should be stored, what operation can be performed on it, and how much memory it requires in storing it. For example, if I create a variable called some value, and I assign two values with an operation, addition operation, so it's adding 10 and 20, and I want to print out these outputs, I say print some values. So when I run this operation, I will see that the answer is 30. Now this is because Python understands that these two values here are numbers. They are numbers, so 10 is a number, 20 is a number. So it's able to do the right operation, which is the summing of the operation to give me a value, an output of 30. But what if I turn these values to a string? So 10, then operation and addition operation, then I had another string. Now I now say print some values. So what is the expected output? What should I expect as my output? Now here you can see the output is different. So you can see 1020 is given as the output. Now this result is because Python understands that these values are string. So it has done a different operation, different from how it handles it as a number. So your type of values will determine the type of operation that will be done on the values. Why are data types important? Data types helps Python to store data efficiently. It helps Python to perform the correct calculation or operation. It also helps Python to manage the memory effectively. Without data type, Python wouldn't know whether this 20 means a number, a text, or whether you are referring to money or age. So it's important to use the right data type. Now, we are going to look at 8 important built-in data types in Python. We'll be taking a look at int, float, string, Boolean, list, tuple, set, and dictionary. Though we have more data types than this, but these are 8 very important data types that we'll be exploring. Now, let's start with integers. Integers are whole number. So you can say, for instance, age. So whole number. You can say score. Or you can say year. So these are integers data type. So there are some operations that you can do with integers. So you can do your arithmetic operation with integers. So I can say some values, age plus score. So I will now print some values. So when I run this operation, so you can see that it can perform the operation of addition on both age and score and giving me the right value. So to check the type of data in Python, you use the function type. So to check the type of this data, I can say print type age. So when I run this, so now you can see it can tell me that the type of data that I have stored in age is an integer. I can say check the type of year. When I run this, also you can see that the data type that was stored in year is also an integer. So with the function type, you can check the type, you can confirm. So with the function type, you can confirm the type of data. So int in this case. Now let's look at another type of data called float. Float represents decimal number. So for decimal number, we can have pi. So 3.142 is the value of pi. Weight, temperature, so here in this case, this type of data are floats. So you can see floats are decimal numbers. So anytime you want to store information such as weight, pi, and temperature, so they are floats. So they are decimal numbers. And there are some operations also you can perform your mathematical operations on floats. So to confirm the type of data, you can also use the function type once again. So if I say print type pi, when I run this operation, here you can see Python can confirm that pi is a float. So also you can perform your mathematical operation on your float. So for instance, I can say, let me create a variable called operation. Then I will say pi multiply by weight. Print operation. When I run this, so you can see that it's giving me the result of the operation of pi and weight. So which is this value, 215.227. So if I say divide operation, so you can see it's giving me the value. So you can perform your mathematical operation on float. So to check the type of a data, you can also use the function type. So I want to check the type of this data. When I run this, so you can see Python can confirm for me that this data is a float. So if I want to check the type of data for pi, I want to confirm. So pi, I run this, so you can see I also get a float. So this type of data are floats in Python. The third type of data are strings. Strings are collections of characters and they are used to store text. To identify a string, they are enclosed in quotes, whether single quotes or double quotes or even triple quotes. Strings are enclosed in quotes. So now let's create an instance. So if you create a variable called name and the value is a string called David. Now we said strings are collections of character. So now if I would ask how many characters do we have here? So DAVID. So this makes it 5 characters. 5 characters. Now if I extend the text in the string, so this, and I ask same question, how many characters do we have here? So DAVID is 5 characters. The space here is also another character. That makes it 6. Then 7, 8, another space, which is also another character. That is 9, 10, 11, another space, which is the 12th character, 13, 14, 15, 16. So here in total, we have 16 characters. So string is a collection of character. Mind you, I did not say collection of words. If I say collection of words, then space wouldn't have been counted. But here, your space is a character, so you always count your space as a character. So a string is a collection of character. All right. So now I'm going to create another variable called cost, whose value is Python. Let me be consistent with my quotes. Then let me create the third variable called message. And the value is, so now here you can see 3 strings created. 3 strings created. Now, one operation we can perform with strings is called concatenation. And concatenation is an operation used to combine strings together. So now to practice this, let me change this variable to first name, and I'll create another variable called last name. So for last name, I'll give it the value do. So now with concatenation, I'm going to combine 2 strings together. So to do that, I'll say print first name then plus last name. So I run this operation. Now here you can see the result, David Doe. But you will notice that there is no space between David and Doe. The words are combined together. 2 words are combined together. So to have a space between them, so I told you that a space is a character. So to have a space between them, I'm going to put the string notation, then another plus. So in between the string notation, I'll make sure that I had a space because a space is a character. I told you a space is a character. So I'm going to make sure that there is a space in between the strings. So I run this again. Now you can see David Doe. So now the space in between is also counted as a character. So you have to compensate for that space by putting a space between these 2 strings here. So I've added a string, another string, an empty string in between first name and last name, and that's compensating for the space that we have in between here. So this is an operation that we can perform with string. So to check the length of a string, you can use a function called len. print. So by using a function called length, I can check the length of a string. So I want to check the length of this variable first name, which is a string. So I run the code. Now you can see that variable has 5 characters. So now let us confirm welcome to Python. Let's confirm the variable message. So when I run this, now you can see it has 17 characters. So 17 characters. So the spaces in between here, between the text, has also been counted as characters. So now here you can confirm that the type of operation that is being performed depends on the type of data. Now let's go to the fourth type of data. The fourth type of data I'll be looking at is Boolean.